Hello, everyone. In the book of Revelation, we read about these mysterious kings of the earth. Who are they? I want to identify them in this presentation. The kings of the earth are mentioned 10 times in the book of Revelation. So let's go through these, and hopefully you'll be able to glean from this who these kings of the earth are or will be. Now, in Revelation chapter 1, verse 5, we read this: "And from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness, the firstborn from the dead, and the ruler of the kings of the earth, to him who loves us and has freed us from our sins by his blood." Notice here that Jesus is the ruler of the kings of the earth. So would these be the kings or presidents and prime ministers of today? Or is this referring to a future time period? At Revelation chapter 5, verse 10, we read, "You have made them," that is Jesus, "you have made them to be a kingdom and priests to serve our God, and they will reign on earth." Now there's a lot to unpack here, because Jesus is the ruler of the kings of the earth. But here we see that Jesus made them to be a kingdom and to do what? To serve our God. So these would not be the political kings of today, because Jesus made them to be a kingdom and priests. So not only will they be the kings of the earth, but they will also be priests to serve our God, and they will reign where? In heaven? No, on earth. Revelation 6:15, "Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains." Now, this is getting into some really deep things that are going to occur in future days within the time period of the fulfillment of the revelation. These kings of the earth will have served with Christ during his 1,000-year kingdom over the earth. They will give their kingdoms. In other words, they'll lay down their authority as kings of the earth and give them to the beast for 1 hour. And things will get pretty bad. And then these kings of the earth, who were once loyal to Christ in those future days, they will hide themselves in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. Now, these are not literal mountains. This hiding is a hiding within whatever is going to be established on the earth in those future days with regards to systems and organizations. Those are the mountains, not literal mountains. At Revelation chapter 16, verse 14, we read, "They are demonic spirits that perform signs, and they go out to the kings of the whole world," that is the kings of the earth, "to gather them for the battle on the great day of God the Almighty." So these kings of the earth will be a special target by the unimprisoned Satan, the devil, in future days. And he'll go out to them, he'll go out to Gog and Magog, and these kings of the earth are included in that mix, to deceive them and to gather them for the battle on the great day of God the Almighty. Understand that at this point in time in the future, these kings of the earth will have been deceived. At Revelation chapter 17, verse 2, this is referring to that harlot that sits upon the scarlet-colored beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns and is full of blasphemous names. With her, that's that harlot, Babylon the Great, with her, the kings of the earth committed adultery. This is deep, because what is adultery? Adultery is being unfaithful to someone. And so these kings of the earth will have been faithful to Christ at one point in time in their tenure as kings and priests within his kingdom. So with her, the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries. So this woman that rides upon that scarlet-colored wild beast will use the kings of the earth. They will have committed adultery with her, and she will enlist them in her service. To do what? To mislead the entire inhabited earth in those future days. Understand that these kings of the earth are a special select by Christ, and they will be well known. They will be respected by all of the inhabitants of the earth. So there would really not be any reason for people not to trust them. And obviously this harlot, this Babylon the Great, knows that. So she uses them to intoxicate the inhabitants of the earth in those future days. That is, to bring them under her control. Revelation chapter 17, verse 18, we're told here that the woman you saw is the great city, that's Babylon the Great, is the great city that rules over who? She rules over the kings of the earth. Now we see this woman at Revelation chapter 17 sitting upon, she's on top of this scarlet colored wild beast. And this beast has 7 heads, 10 horns, no crowns on its horns, but she rides on top of it. That means that she controls it. But here we see her not only riding upon that beast on top of it, she rules over the kings of the earth. During the tenure of the beast, when it came out of the sea, at Revelation chapter 13, it was the kings of the earth, represented by the 10 crowns and the 10 horns. They had control over the beast. Now the beast, according to Revelation chapter 16, verse 10, is a throne and a kingdom, or it will be a throne and a kingdom that will reside over the earth in the distant future. So these kings of the earth will have had control over that throne and kingdom, that is, that government. Then this woman comes along and she just takes over. How she does it will prove to be very interesting. But she is going to be something else, because the way she's described, her beauty, her luxury, the way she's adorned will be very attractive to all of the inhabitants of the earth. And obviously, the kings of the earth will be drawn to her as well. They'll be drawn to her beauty and her appearance. At Revelation chapter 18, verse 3, we read, "For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries." So this Babylon the Great, this city, in a sense, will be so powerful, so influential, that all of the nations of the world in those future days, whose numbers one cannot even count, the people within them, will have drank the maddening wine of her adulteries. And we're told here again that the kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries. This is all yet future. None of this has occurred yet. At Revelation chapter 18, verse 9, we read, "When the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and shared her luxury," so these kings of the earth will have a share in her riches and luxury and glory and all that stuff, right? So when they see the smoke of her burning, that is her impending destruction, that's what that means. See, the smoke of her burning is her impending destruction. They will weep and mourn over her. So these kings of the earth will actually see, before Babylon the Great is destroyed, there is no other recourse for Babylon the Great. She will be destroyed. That's what the smoke of her burning is. At Revelation chapter 19, we read, "Then I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to wage war against the rider on the horse and his army." The rider on that horse is on that white horse, who has a crown and a long sword. So this rider comes out of heaven. And none of this is visible stuff, right? This is all spiritual. This will be Satan's last stand on the earth. So it will be through his throne and kingdom, that is the beast, and the kings of the earth who will have surrendered their crowns and authority as kings to the beast for 1 hour, and their armies, the armies of that government, the throne and kingdom of the beast and the kings of the earth, they will gather together to wage war against what is surely coming down out of heaven. The rider, the horse, that white horse, and his army. So it's at this point, at Revelation 19:19, that we see the true meaning of kingdom against kingdom. So this champion of God's kingdom, on the rider on the white horse, comes down out of heaven. So we see a kingdom against kingdom. God's kingdom that's coming down to the earth, and the last stronghold on the earth, the kingdom and throne of the beast. But this battle will be waged on earth. Armageddon is not a war. Armageddon is not the war. Armageddon is the place where the war will be waged here on earth. And lastly, at Revelation chapter 21, verse 24, we read that the nations will walk by its light, and the kings of the earth will bring their splendor into it. So at this point, we see that the kings of the earth who were deceived will be awakened. A very powerful message will be declared to the entire inhabited earth in those future days. Jesus spoke of that very powerful declaration that's going to occur in future days, that will be poured out the throne and kingdom of the beast. He spoke of it at Matthew chapter 24, verse 14, where he says, "And this gospel, or good news of the kingdom, will be preached into all of the inhabited earth for a witness, and then the end will come." No human being will declare that message. An angel will. And we see this at Revelation chapter 14, verse 6. No human being can be entrusted to declare that message and to ensure that everyone hears it and has an opportunity to respond to it. So obviously at this point in time, at Revelation chapter 21 and verse 24, the kings of the earth will have responded to that declaration. And as we can see here, that the nations will walk by its light, and the kings of the earth will bring their splendor into it. If one goes up to Revelation chapter 21, verse 1 and 2, we read about the new city Jerusalem coming down to the earth out of heaven, that there will be a new heaven and a new earth. So the battle will have been waged. Satan will have lost that battle. The devil, the beast, the false prophet will have been destroyed, and the kings of the earth will receive their inheritance. What is that inheritance? The earth. And so the nations will walk by its light, and the kings of the earth will bring their splendor into it. So these are the 10 instances of the kings of the earth in Revelation. The kings of the earth have not arrived yet. They're not political kings. These are a special select group of men in future days. Only Christ knows who they are because he chooses them. Again, they will serve as kings and priests with Christ during his 1,000-year kingdom. And I'll place that scripture below here so you can read that for yourself. So all this is yet future. Do not be misled into believing that these kings of the earth are in existence right now. Nothing in the book of Revelation has had a fulfillment yet. Nothing in our time period at present is of Revelation. This is R. Jerome Harris, the disciple. Thank you for listening.